Hey guys, Ron here, and you loved the first 2 type swap videos, so here's part 3. Instead of swapping Pokemon into random types that obliterate their entire design and concept, I'm going to design these type swap Pokemon as if they were also regional variants. I'm going to give them backstories and make them actually work in the Pokemon world. I'm trying my best to create regional variants with completely new types like Ice Darumaka or Fire Ghost Marowak, but some may share a type. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoy so I know to make part 4, and check out the last 2 for regional variants like Ice Luxray and Water Magmar. But today, I'll start by making a Dark Ghost Gardevoir. So how do we make it fit Gardevoir's lore as well as its concept and origins? I don't know, that's the end of the video. Oh snap, it's still going! The video is back from the dead! That's the concept of the Gardevoir. So how did that whole convoluted bit have anything to do with the Gardevoir that we're gonna type swap? Well, Gardevoir are super loyal, and they will even guard their trusted trainers with their life. So how about we make a Gardevoir that was born from tragedy? What if it died by like saving its trainer, and it would be at peace if it succeeded, but what if it didn't succeed? It died and it failed protecting its trainer, or maybe its trainer was a bad person and the Gardevoir ended up saving the life of someone who's evil. There are multiple tragedies that Gardevoir can be involved in, but the point is it's dead and it's not happy about it. But in terms of design, what will this look like? Design-wise, it's a bit of mix of like guardian angels, traditional Japanese dolls, Ningyo dolls, ghosts and knights, or ghost knights, like these. And most importantly, a principal dancer, the head of a ballet company. So what famous ballet has a white-colored protagonist and a black-colored doppelganger-like antagonist? Swan Lake. How about we take some visual inspiration from the Black Swan? Let's do it. So just like the other type swaps, I'm tracing over the original art because regional forms are usually in the same exact pose as the original unless they're drastically different designs. But this Gardevoir is gonna almost look like an evil twin. She's gonna have color around the eyes and her hair is gonna be in a bun, like ballerinas usually do their hair, but it's also like a pointy horn in the back. Instead of a heart-like protrusion from her chest, she's gonna have a hole where her heart used to be. She's empty now, and instead of creating black holes, she is a black hole. Her dress will be puffy instead of flowy, and I really want to add some ornaments like a golden tiara on her head that most interpretations of the black swans have, but I still don't know what I'm doing. I'll add more details like gloves and some shading so you understand the concept, and the dress of the black swan usually have some gold or silver ornaments too, so I'm trying to implement those, but I decided to not make the design too complicated and instead make the segments of the body and hair golden instead of adding ornaments. And there she is, Dark Ghost Gardevoir. This Pokemon is said to be a resurrected Gardevoir who died saving its trainer. It's now on a quest for revenge. While Hoennian Gardevoir is kind and polite, this Pokemon is vicious and heartless. It has abandoned all empathy. It actively uses the black hole in its chest to suck in and disintegrate its enemies, and only a trainer who can show this Gardevoir the light again can manage to possibly tame it. Here's its shiny, by the way. Its stats are pretty much the same, but it's frailer, faster, and has more special attack. It has a new ability called Vindicated, which boosts its special attack when hit with a dark-type move. A special version of Justified. Its hidden ability is Cursed Body, definitely a dark take on a fan-favorite Pokemon. Next I want to make an Ice Lycanroc. I love Arctic animals, and I've always wanted to make an Arctic wolf Pokemon, or I didn't have to make it, at least it would be cool if Game Freak made it themselves, less work for me. An Arctic wolf Pokemon or a Husky Pokemon will fulfill my dreams. I mean, this would be the best. But Midday Lycanroc is kind of halfway there. You wouldn't have to change it much in order to make it an ice-type Pokemon, just a new color scheme and ice instead of rocks. Now, since it's going to look the same without any real difference aside from the color scheme and swapping the rocks for ice shards, I'm not going to redraw it and instead just straight up adjust the official art. So I'm definitely not going to call this my own creation, but I did struggle with deciding which Photoshop tool would be the most efficient. In the end, this is our Ice Lycanroc. Honestly, its stats are the same as Midday Lycanroc. It would be unusual if it was any different, and I obviously can't make it have more defense or attack considering ice isn't as sturdy as rock, and I can't make it faster because it's already pretty fast. So what's Ice Lycanroc all about? Well, again, it's just a Lycanroc that is adapted to the cold. It is less affectionate and more independent, but it's way more hardworking. It's actually smarter than the average Lycanroc, and it's not actually born with ice claws. It uses its ice powers to create ice claws. Here's the shiny. It has 2 signature moves, Ice Slash, which has the same effects and base power as Ice Punch, and Ice Edge, which is an ice version of Stone Edge. Its abilities are Keen Eye and Slush Rush, with the hidden ability Snow Cloak. Now it's time to finally make an electric type Slacking. Now if you've been following this series, you'll know that I made already a Electric Slakoth and Vigoroth. Both are basically the opposite of their original versions, but I'm not going to go into it. You go watch those videos to really understand the full story. But now I want to make a fast, rampaging Gorilla Sloth, and it'll have elements of its previous evolutions too, so let's go. First, I'm going to sketch the proportions of a big fat standing gorilla sloth, but I'll have you know that he will start slimming down during the process of this creation since I realize he isn't lazy anymore and would be more healthy looking. This guy is pissed and his eyes are leaking out electricity too. His neck fur is also staticky too. Is that a word, staticky? It's not. But goddamn is this boy round. After giving him some chiseled pecs, I decided to have him go on a diet and added a lightning bolt pattern on his abs, making hair all around it stand due to static, and gave him sharp sloth feet. Finally, decided to add the stripes that its electric type Slakoth Prevo has, adjusting the proportions and boldening it a bit. Damn, it looks good now. Here's the king, Electric Slacking. After slumbering for its entire Vigoroth stage, it is now more energized than ever, and must unleash all the stored electricity it has amassed by rampaging. While it is in control of its actions, the barrage of electricity driving its muscles makes it harder for Slacking to be precise and nuanced with its actions. After expending all of its electricity, it must rest to regain power again. It has less mass than the original Slacking, so it doesn't hit as hard, and it doesn't have much blubber for defense, but its special attack is boosted and is way faster. It has a new ability called Rampage. On the turn that it is mobile, all of its stats are boosted, but then, like Truant, it becomes immobile for a turn, in which all of its stats are lowered. Since it's not lazy anymore, the reason it doesn't do anything every turn is because it physically can't. I mean, that is the case with the original Slacking, but this time its stats are lowered because it used up all of its energy in the first turn. Now it's time to make a Water Dragon Dragapult. Now, Dragapult's line is the ghost version of a prehistoric extinct Pokemon, and it's based on actual extinct amphibians like the Diplocalus, mixed in with a stealth bomber now that it's a ghost, so it's invisible and shoots out dreepy projectiles. So it's a nice mixture of different origins that actually are very cohesive. So how about we make the ancient version of a Dragapult simply a water-dwelling amphibian, of course with some holes on its head, you know, where it places its babies, and it shoots them out like a submarine shoots out missiles. I know I want its plane attributes to, well, not look like elements from a jet anymore since it's an underwater sea creature. I want everything to look organic, so everything will be more rounded and smooth. The body is pretty similar, but more amphibious. I originally wanted to give it holes on its back where it stores its dreepies, like how some real-life amphibians lay eggs on their backs, but it would have looked too creepy, you know, the holes for the dreepy, and wouldn't allow it to shoot them as projectiles, so he'll store them in his head, but will only have one hole on each side. Maybe it gains other holes millions of years later. And that's pretty much the Water Dragon Dragapult and its precious babies. These Dragapults lived in ancient times and apparently died off because while their protrusions generated far more lift when rising in water, it prevented them from diving really quickly. It wasn't really hydrodynamic. Coincidentally, when they became extinct and were reborn as ghosts, the lift that was generated from their protrusions allowed them to move faster and become dominant in the air, because it's pretty aerodynamic. The ancient versions are actually super maternal and paternal. They love taking care of their babies and even allow aquatic baby Pokemon to take refuge from predators in their heads. They are not very good at walking on land since they're very top heavy and have short legs, but they can shoot projectiles and special moves at an astonishing speed. Here's the shiny. They are more specially defensive and adept than the Ghost Dragapult, but a bit slower. They have the abilities Rain Dish and Water Veil, and the hidden ability Damp. They are very slimy. It's almost impossible to hold a water dreepy since they will just shoot out of your fingers like soap. Let's move on to our final Pokemon. I want to make a Rock Copperajah. Steel Copperajah is based on Asian elephants, what with their small ears and the protrusions on their heads. I mean, look at the difference between an Asian elephant and an African elephant. Copperajah is made of copper and it's very Indian inspired in terms of the elements and the colors that it has. So how about we make an African elephant Copperajah that has big ears, African patterns and colors, and rocks on its body instead of steel. These patterns would look amazing on a Pokemon and the colors are so warm and comforting. I'm a big fan of this. Wow, I wouldn't mind some of this in my home. And it makes sense to give it a rock type since Africa is a highly mined continent, so this Pokemon was used to dig. So the basic structure of this Pokemon is pretty much the same, but I'm replacing a lot of its body with rocks. Even the tusks will be precious rocks. The ear is double the size of an Indian Copperajah, and even the tail has a little rock at the end. It isn't a rectangular prism anymore. It's got more of a natural shape, but not too smooth like steel. Now that we have all the limbs of this majestic beast, let's introduce the African patterns or elements. Let me first make the tusks more rock-like, and then add patterns that resemble African war paint. This Pokemon would have been used in ancient battles after all, just like real-world elephants. Just adding a ton of zigzags, but it will definitely only be fully realized with the greens, reds, and yellows that I'll paint him. Very warm and vibrant colors. I gave him rock humps and then decided to turn his trunk and ear into stone as well. And there's my green boy, Rock Copperajah. This Pokemon comes from a faraway region full of jungles and savannas. For centuries, it has been used to mine the most precious of gems. As a rock type, it can even sense where the most valuable gems are. And as an elephant-like Pokemon, it can remember every den it has checked and all the best places to dig. It is said that the Copperajah that ended up in Galar slowly adapted more refined and water-resistant hides. They were brought to the royalty of Galar because their skin was more hard, more shiny, and more valuable, while the rock-type Copperajahs in their native region are rough and jagged. But every once in a while, a Copperajah is born with diamond tusks. I do enjoy its shiny as well. The strongest and most resilient Copperajahs were sent off to war in ancient times. Since they're lighter, these rock-type Copperajahs are faster and especially defensive, but they are frailer and pack a less hard punch. They have the ability Solid Rock or Rockhead, with the hidden ability Sheer Force. I hope you enjoyed these creations enough to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like these. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, where I will post final full artwork of these Pokemon from time to time, and check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon, where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early. Or click the join button for the same rewards and more. Bye!